If your entire critique of capitalism is essentially money is bad, no one should have to pay for anything, that is not an economic nor a political critique. That is a fantasy delusion fueled by entitlement of wanting to just have everything that you would like to have without anyone having to exert effort or pay for it with time or energy or resources or money. Money pre-exists and predates capitalism by thousands of years. Many cultures that were not capitalist cultures had some form of money because it's a very efficient way to transfer energy. Barter is another way to transfer energy, right? Even the simple thing of like, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours. Like, that's me taking energy from my body to scratch your back so you feel better, and then you will turn around and take the energy you have because you're not so itchy now and scratch my back so now I feel better. Like, that's energy transfer, that's energy exchange. We're supporting each other in meeting our needs by giving of the energy we have to one another. And so money is a more efficient way to do that. Barter, for example, if I grow potatoes and you grow tomatoes, I'll be like, here, I'll give you some potatoes, you give me some tomatoes. Cool, that works. But for our friend who doesn't do nightshades, they don't want potatoes or tomatoes. They have no use for what we have to offer. But maybe they have something that is useful to us, right? And so money's a more efficient way of transferring energy. It is a tool. It's not inherently evil. It is the most necessary tool in the current structures that we live in. And pretending that we're going to have a way to have a society without money in the foreseeable future is just delusional and not a useful critique or analysis. So assuming that anyone who asks for money in exchange for services is a capitalist is, one, incredibly inaccurate, and two, just really terrible analysis, because it does not appreciate the time or energy that people put into developing skill, developing mastery, providing their time and energy to their communities. Now, in a time and place where there's lots of scammers everywhere, I understand the knee-jerk reaction to like pull back and be like, if you really cared, you would offer it for free. And I wish I could live in that world, right? Read Robin Wall Kimmerer's Braiding Sweetgrass book and this vision of like a world that is just full of abundance of people just giving from the heart what they have in service of life to support one another. It's a beautiful vision. It is not the one we live in part because there are so many scammers everywhere. And that scamming comes back to colonizer mentality of how can I get without having to give, which is the same energy underneath the idea that everything should be free to you and you should not have to remunerate or exchange energy or offer anything in return for what people offer to you. It's entitled and it's colonizer mentality, and it is not helpful for the revolution or anything else. Now, for example, the workshops that we offer at Strategy and Solidarity and do even pay to promote on social media. Why? Because that's where people are. And if you're trying to organize with people, you got to go where they are. Yes, we also need to be organizing in real life in our communities. And we have very particular, well-developed skill sets that would be very useful to many people that are beyond our immediate in-person communities. And so we do that at a loss most of the time so that we can organize and meet people beyond our physical communities. And people are like, that's capitalist. It's like, no, capitalists own the means of production and exploit their workers by paying them less than the value that they produce. And that you could call it wage slavery, you can call it exploitation, you can call it whatever you want. I don't have any employees. There's no one being exploited here except for maybe me exploiting myself and how much I do without being paid for it. We do ask for energy exchange for our workshops on a sliding scale of $10 to $99, depending on what resources you got. There's some people for whom $100 feels like $10. And if you're one of those people, you know, we invite you to pay that solidarity rate we offer so you can support the work we're doing for the folks for whom $10 feels like $100 some days. And so we're trying to be accessible, but also trying to be in right relationship with one another. It's not about, and you're not entitled to anyone else's time or energy. I'm not here to martyr myself for anybody else. I'm trying to build and expect that there will be reciprocity, giving and receiving, right relationship, good flow of energy and resources and money through our communities. So anyway, money does not equal capitalism. If you think that it does, one, you should read a book because it will help your analysis. And 2, you should do some energy clearing or something around your feelings about money, because, you know, who benefits and who burdens from the belief that money is inherently evil, and if you touch it, you're evil too. It sure benefits the billionaires, because then they have all the money. Especially if you out here telling everybody in your community that, like, you're bad if you have money. Who is that helping? You're bad if you exploit people for your own profit violently. That's bad. Having enough money to, like, pay people for what they produce, to be able to buy food at the farmer's market, to support your local farmers, to buy handcrafted goods at the craft fair, to pay people in the community a worthwhile rate for their time and energy for the services they're able to provide, if they're fixing your house or, you know, whatever it is. Like, we all have things to offer, and we should all have enough resources to meet our basic needs. And until that happens, and there's some way to do that that doesn't involve money, please upgrade your analysis. It does not help us to go around saying things with no grounding in reality or fact. But anyway, just a reminder, money is not inherently capitalism. Though capitalism requires money, capitalism is owning the means of production and exploiting other people's labor so you can hoard wealth for yourself. Okay, bye.